Hello， 大家好，欢迎回到外媒看中国，我是安博然。BRICS leaders, including China's President Xi Jinping, reiterated calls for a ceasefire in Gaza, an end to what Xi calls collective punishment of civilians, the unconditional release of all hostages, and stressed China's belief that the two-state solution is the only way to address the ongoing issue between Israel and Palestine. But India's Prime Minister Modi was nowhere to be seen. Why is that? Well, this is Reports on China. I'm Andy Boreham in Shanghai. Let's get reporting. Leaders of the BRICS nations met virtually on Tuesday to discuss the Israel-Palestine conflict, urging an immediate ceasefire. But the Prime Minister of core member India, Modi, was absent due to what the Hindu calls other commitments. China's President Xi Jinping made the following recommendations, according to China Daily. Xi called on the parties to stop all violence and attacks against civilians, release civilians held captive, and act to prevent loss of more lives and spare more people from more misery. Xi said humanitarian corridors must be kept secure and unimpeded, and more humanitarian assistance should be provided to the population in Gaza. He said the international community must act with practical measures to prevent the conflict from spilling over and endangering stability in the Middle East as a whole. He emphasized that the only viable way to break the cycle of Palestinian-Israeli conflict lies in the two-state solution, in the restoration of the legitimate national rights of Palestine, and in the establishment of an independent state of Palestine. President Xi believes that the two-state solution, which proposes creating two states for two peoples, Israel for the Jewish people and Palestine for Palestinians, must be enforced in order to solve this ongoing issue. President Xi added, "The conflict in Gaza is raging on into its second month. China is gravely concerned that the conflict is causing enormous civilian casualties and a humanitarian disaster, and tends to expand and spill over." South China Morning Post quoted him as saying, "China supports the legitimate national rights of the Palestinian people and the establishment of an independent state," he said, renewing calls for a ceasefire in Gaza. "There can be no security in the Middle East without a just solution to the question of Palestine." But India's Prime Minister was notably absent from the BRICS summit on Tuesday, and The Hindu provides somewhat of an explanation. Their article reads, "The decision to skip an appearance with the other leaders of BRICS indicates New Delhi's discomfort with deliberations that were likely to be critical of Israel's bombardment of Gaza. Unlike all the other countries in the grouping, India has taken a stand that is closer to that of the United States and other Western countries by not demanding that Israel forces ceasefire and abstaining from a UN General Assembly vote on a resolution to call for a ceasefire. All the other BRICS Plus members voted in favour." Personally, I think it would be more leader-like to show up at the virtual summit and discuss your views openly with the other members, but I guess that is just me. It's also worth mentioning that a number of relevant foreign ministers met China's Wang Yi in Beijing this week to discuss the conflict, as mentioned by The Hindu, who said, "Beijing's declaration is significant as it comes soon after the foreign ministers of the Arab League and the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Indonesia, and Jordan, met with China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi in the Chinese capital. They had called for a halt to the hostilities that have left more than 11,000 people in Gaza dead, a third of them children, and about 1.7 million homeless." So as you can see, China, together with BRICS and other nations from the global south, is really doing all that it can to diplomatically ensure peace in the world, taking concrete steps to end hostilities and save human life. Unfortunately, the BRICS statement and President Xi's calls for peace aren't being reported on widely in Western media, which is to be expected because it doesn't fit into the China bad and China threat image that Western governments and media like to promote to their citizens. Seeing China as a peacemaker would just blow too many people's minds. So what do you think? Will the BRICS statement and the comments from President Xi, as well as the foreign ministers meeting in Beijing, achieve any concrete results in regards to the Gaza conflict? As always, I would love to know what you guys have to say. Do let me know down below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.